Catherine Knight was basically in custody, but for some time she's going to be laid up. She's going to be possibly unconscious. That gave us a little bit of breathing space. We knew that we weren't going to get a chance to interview or even begin thoughts of interviewing Catherine Knight until she was completely well enough.
Whilst detectives wait to interview Knight to see what she will reveal, forensic investigators arrive to look for any clues that can determine what has actually happened in the house.
I got a phone call from VKG, which is police radio, telling us there'd been a murder. And I said to the operator, well, how do you know it's a murder? He said, well, he's been decapitated.
With the graphic description of how Price has been found, Peter Muscio is expecting a gruesome scene, but nothing can prepare him for what he is to see next.
We came in through the laundry at the back of the premises, and there's an aroma, and it was quite a macabre thing. It's a sweet odour, nice odour, as if Mum's cooking a stew.
Just like his colleagues before him, Peter is soon to discover the grim reality of the smell lingering in the kitchen. But he is first confronted with the rest of the killer's destruction.
Walk inside, and one of the first things you see is Mr Price's skin or pelt hanging from the door, from a meat hook. I searched through the pelt for Mr Price's genitals. Further into the kitchen, you could see blood staining on certain items. Into the lounge room, there was a body. Further down the hallway, there was blood staining down towards the bedrooms. You could see where I think Mr Price has gone for the light switch. There's blood staining on the light switch, and also blood that he coughed or something onto the wall. You could see this expiration mark on it.
Analysing the scene, Peter tries to retrace Price's steps. The victim has firstly been attacked whilst lying in bed, then has tried to run for his life.
But as you go out towards the lounge room, this blood stain's getting heavier and heavier. Big swipes on the wall where he's blood-soaked himself and sliding against the wall. It's also getting lower, as if he's and it comes to a culmination at the foyer where he's just succumbed to his injuries. He's actually opened the front door, and there's blood spatter on the screen door, so he's nearly made it out. Not that it would have helped him, he would have died certainly, but you just see the enormity of where it starts in the bedroom and just progressively worse and worse till you get to that point where he's died. The blood pool, it was the width of the hallway, which is probably 1.2 metres wide.
John Price has been stabbed 37 times, and the attacker has shown no mercy, continuing with the most barbaric acts. As if the crime scene could not get any worse, Peter has the difficult task of examining the remains of the victim's body.
When we examined the body, you could see the body has been there in its entirety. There was a big stain on the floor where the head would have been. It's been skinned first. You can see where she'd placed the skin on the carpet to set it there, and it's quite a substantial staining. There's also an outline of the head, so she's then taken the head off there. You can see where she's walked in carrying it to the kitchen. There's a drip, 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 drip of blood all the way leading to the cooktop. But until we actually lifted the lid off, it wasn't confirmed.
The killer, having already decapitated and dismembered this man, hasn't stopped there, as the police are drawn to something else in the kitchen.
They go in and there's a meal on the table, for God's sake. There's vegetables, there's gravy, there's his meat, which he's cooked in the oven. If you saw it in a horror movie, you'd almost laugh because it's just so over the top. These are the things those coppers saw that day, and these are things that never leave them.
To me, they were a statement. She had cut, I think it's the glutamus maximus, the doc called it, off his backside, and it's a big muscle, and she's cut that into 5 different steaks, and she's cooked them, baked them in the oven. 2 of them were on one plate, 2 on another plate, and the 5th one was out for the dog, I believe. But it wasn't touched. But the meals were there like a trophy. They had the names of each person who was supposed to get them.
The names displayed with the meals are two of John Price's relatives, prepared and arranged ready for them to come in and discover, but neither meal has been touched. Despite the confronting crime scene, Peter and his colleagues still have to gather what evidence they can.
In the kitchen there was items that had been used. There was a jug with blood-stained handprint on it. So you collect that, that gets processed further back at the lab. A lot of the items were taken back, like the knives. There's a honing steel. There's also a sharpening stone. Like we had to get DNA material from all of those. There's a piece of cooked meat out on the backyard, so we collected that.
As the harrowing nature of what has happened begins to sink in, Bob Wells gets the chance to interview their prime suspect.
I got the opportunity